Hello there and welcome back to my YouTube channel. James here as ever for today's video explaining all about how you can find and apply for an accounting study contract. If this is the first time you've visited my channel before, my name is James. I'm an ACCA qualified accountant from the UK, and on my channel I help out ACCA accounting students around the world, help them to answer any queries they have. It's 100% student-led, and if you've got any questions on study contracts or accounting, whatever it may be, make sure you leave me a comment at the bottom. I answer them all, and I dedicate all my videos to my lovely subscribers. And today, as ever, is no different because, as you can see up here, Ibrahim, thank you so much for your comment on there. And this is, if you haven't already checked it out, I've done a previous video on what is an accounting study contract. And as you can see on there, Ibrahim's asked, thank you so much for this video, would really appreciate the same as well. And we had a few little comments and he put, yeah, basically I want to know how to secure a contract. Well, Ibrahim, you're in the right place. Get sat down, get comfy, because I've got 4 key points, 4 key strategies that I'd be implementing if I was looking to actually do a study contract and to find and apply for one myself. Now, this video is actually applicable not just to ACCA students. You could be ACA, AAT, ATT, CPA, CTA, whichever professional body it may be, it doesn't matter. These are the sort of techniques that I went through when I was actually applying for my study contract, and this is what I recommend for you to go away and try because it's a really good thing to actually get into. I completed mine and it really helped me to progress my career. So before we actually get stuck into the actual video, like I said, if you'd like access to all of my free resources and keep up to date with all the new videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button below so you'll be notified of all my new videos. And if you find the tips helpful in the video, make sure you give it a massive thumbs up below. I really appreciate it because it makes the videos able to be seen by more accounting students around the world. So, without any further ado, let's get into the actual video itself now. And really in a nutshell, in case you haven't already watched the video before, and feel free to go check it out, it's all about explaining what an accounting study contract is. But in a nutshell, it's where you, as an accounting student, not qualified yet, would go and work for an employer, and the actual employer will support you in your studying, so paying for aspects such as tuition, exam fees, maybe annual membership, any other aspects that could be travel, subsistence, accommodation, whatever it may be, all to do with your studying. And this means that you would remain at that company for a certain amount of time. Usually 3 years is the actual contract length, but if you were to leave before those 3 years are up, then you would be actually caught up in what is called a payback period. But to go into more detail, to understand the details of that, make sure you go check out the other video. But basically it's a case of, in total, you will stay at the company for 4 years, and if you don't leave within those 4 years and you pass through your exams, you don't owe anything back to the employer. So hence it's a really good way of not incurring the expenses for all the studying yourself. It should actually help you to progress your career because as you develop through your studies, you understand more about accounting and the business you're working for. And I personally, as I said, completed a study contract, and I feel it's a really good way to gain that experience working in a firm, so doing the exams and studying at the same time. And you have that security of knowing that you're going to be there long term with the financial incentive of one, getting paid your usual wage, and then on top of it, you're having your studies paid for. Rather than it coming out of your pocket, it's coming out of the employer's. But again, it depends on if you were to chop and change or leave employers, because then you could get caught by that actual payback period. But I would say about career development and progression, it's a really good thing to actually be aware of. Hence why I make the videos. And Ibrahim's there with his pen and paper all ready for these points. So, as I said, without any further ado, here are my 4 key areas, okay? The best ways to actually find an employer and to get offered a study contract, okay? So first of all, number 1 is actually having a look on the actual careers websites of the actual professional bodies. So this could be ACCA, ACA, whichever professional body you want to be part of. I'm a member of ACCA, so what I'll do for you is in the description of this video, I'm going to put the link to the ACCA jobs on there, and because I'm getting super duper at the editing, I'm going to put a screenshot of what it looks like on there. And what this is, as your first area, of actually going directly to the professional bodies onto their careers website is actually finding officially verified ACCA employers that have actually had previous ACCA students who have done study contracts before. They have partnerships with the professional body, so automatically they have that good relationship that if you're applying on there directly, you are going to have a really good chance of understanding the process more, what they're actually looking for here, and usually it'll actually ask for a bit of experience, but making you understand about the 36 months of the initial study contract before your 12 months of paying it back. Because the 36 months is actually relating to, well, the 36 months you need to become a professional accountant. So you do your 36 months of qualifying work experience, plus all your exams, all of your skills and professional ethics as well signed off, and that would mean that you become an actual qualified accountant. So the actual ACCA Careers website has employers that are looking to take on students for that long period of time that you'd be looking for, actually gaining a study contract. And also on the website, it's really, really helpful because it shows you the skills that employers are actually looking for in a variety of different sectors. So it could be anything from banking, it could be public sector, it could be oil and gas. Whatever area you're interested in, you can go and have a look at the job specs for actual contracts that involve a study contract as well on top of it. And then you can go away and say, right, these are the skills I need to develop, and then when I'm applying to these employers, I've got a better chance of securing the role with the study contract as well. It has loads of job vacancies on there, but I would rather, how can I say, the vacancies actually on the professional body website are specific. So the employers have to get in touch with the professional body to actually get it registered on there. They will have had to have built up some rapport in the past, and you can filter it all out. It's really, really helpful. It was one of the first areas that I started to look into when I was first looking for my actual study contract position myself. So highly recommend it. And again, it's if you're a ACCA, a Cima student, have a look on their professional body websites, get in touch with their careers teams and see what they can sort you out from that way. But it'll be my first point of call. Go directly to the professional body's website, utilize their resources, and then see where you can go from there. So that is the first one on there, utilize their careers websites of the professional bodies. Well, coming on to number 2 now, and this is relating to recruiters and online platforms. So this is a sort of second area that I'd be looking at going on, because these are actual recruiters or the online CV platforms where you'd already upload it, and roles that are being advertised on these actual platforms are already being directly associated. So you've got to be specific within your actual CV, your resume, to say that you actually directly want to be on a study contract, because recruiters and people who work within their actual organisation, so a recruiter will have you as the individual here and the employer here. The recruiter works in the middle. They'll usually reach out to you on actual social media networks such as LinkedIn, I would say as well, and they will try and match you up to the role. So you've got to be really specific to say in your CV, in your cover letter and resume, I'm looking for a study contract. That is what I want to have as part of my actual position that I want to go for. LinkedIn, I did mention there as well, is a great way that you can connect and interact with other professionals in areas and sectors that you want to go into. And this could be just that foot in the door, that could be a little insight to say, oh, is there a role going at this company right now? But you've really got to put yourself out there, because sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. And just by sending out that one little message, actually replying to that one little comment, posting that update, that can be the real difference in actually a recruiter or someone on LinkedIn finding your actual professional profile and saying, yes, James could add real value to our business. What is he after? And what kind of role is he looking for? And that's where you can be specific in asking for a study contract. So that would be my tip number 2, looking and potentially using recruiters directly, and definitely getting yourself on online platforms such as LinkedIn. I'll actually point up here so that you can see what LinkedIn looks like, and it's a really, really good tool for you to actually use. So that was the second one, really, really helpful. Now the third one is actually how I secured my study contract when I was actually in your position, or when I was actually a novice student, should we say, on here. And number 3 is actually applying to companies directly. Okay, so you can find a company in your local area, or if it's somewhere that you particularly want to go and work at, okay, find it on Google Maps, or if you actually know where the organisation actually is, and reach out to one of their individuals who you potentially might know at the company, or try and make it as bespoke as possible, because first impressions are so key. Okay, so I did both email and actually call the firms as well, and then say why you want to work there with a good reason. Okay, the more bespoke you make your application, so trying to get hold of direct names within the organisation, if you can speak to someone who works within the actual HR or resources on there. Again, cover letters, resumes, the more generic you are, so if you're sending out the same applications to a variety of companies, this will not work. You've got to be really bespoke, you've got to talk about the organisation and saying why you want to go and work there, where could you add value as well. And this is where networking comes into it, again with LinkedIn, as we mentioned up at the top there. So networking in your local area as applying after a conversation who maybe you met them online, or maybe a Zoom call or face-to-face, whatever it may be. And if you can actually follow up the next day and say, oh, Paul, it was lovely to meet you at that networking event. Thank you so much for your insights. I'm actually really interested to know more about the company. Could you give me some more information or pass on the details to the head of recruitment there? I'd love to discuss potentially actually discussing a study contract to come and work and study at the firm. Something on those lines is going to be that little extra nugget of information, a bit more bespoke, and showing why you want to go work there is the real key thing. I did also mention about calling. It's quite old-fashioned now, but we're talking a fair few years ago. But I was just doing the usual sort of searching online. Found this one company which, oh no, they're very interesting. They had account services, taxation, bits of audit as well, compliance, financial advisory services. So I thought, oh, I've got a nice variety of things here that if I didn't particularly like audit, I could move over to tax or anything vice versa. So I had a look on their website. They had some openings, and I gave them a call. And whenever you make a call and applying to companies directly, make sure you've got a pen and paper to write down the details of who you spoke to on the phone, who are the right people to actually go away, and who are the right people to take your application forward. So when I spoke to them on the phone, I said, oh, very impressed with the firm. They've actually got such a diverse array of services. These are my qualities and skills. I'd love to discuss it in further details. Here you go. Please take down my email address. Feel free to get in touch if you'd like to discuss this more. And lo and behold, they actually called me back that afternoon, which was quite overwhelming. I went, oh my word, why didn't I do this before? So hence why I'm mentioning it here. But it was from me applying directly to companies that meant it showed my enthusiasm and attitude that I really wanted to work there. The other thing to actually mention with this tactic is if you go through a recruiter, like we talked about in point 2, they would actually take a cut from the firm who you go to. So they would command a fee for actually finding you and placing you in that role. Versus if you apply directly, as we're talking about here, if I go to a firm, I don't command a fee for it. You might get a sign-on bonus if you're really, really lucky, but the company would not have to pay that fee. And again, another financial incentive to say, James is really keen to work here. We don't have to pay any extra fees on top of it. So yes, it's quite inclined. Why not on it? He's really sold it to us in the interview. And this is where you spin that into a real positive thing, that you can ask for a study contract and they can put it in your overall actual package to work at the firm. So tip number 3 on there, apply directly to companies. So underrated, I would say. Now, fourthly on here, and I don't really hear many people talk about this online, but I hear it from quite a few students around the world. So definitely something to get written down in your notes from today as to go away, that like when you're networking or speaking to people on LinkedIn, or maybe you've just met someone at an event and you're just having a chat or in the local area. But tip number 4 is actually to start a position. So start working at a firm and then transition into a study contract. So what that means is really, it builds trust between yourself and the employer that you can be relied upon, your quality of work, and at the end of the day, it helps gain you experience, and it shows that you can trust each other, that maybe it will be sort of to ask your employer that, come on, can you give me 3 to 6 months, maybe cover my probation, and then after we've done that 3 to 6 month period, then I can transition onto a study contract on there. Something on those lines, just to say, look, let them settle into the company, let's see how they fit in, and make sure it's actually written in the contract, because then that is binary, versus if it's vocally said, there's nothing written in paper, and you haven't got a leg to stand on. So the other flip side of this, from a more sort of positive view, is if you go work for the company, as we say, start a position, just go there as a regular employee, and then if you don't like the work that they're going on there, or if it's not quite for you, you're not quite feeling it, well, you're not tied into a study contract at that point, so you could actually leave. You're not tied down, you're pretty flexible on it, aren't you? So you've got no ties. So it's sort of a win-win, that if you really like working there, then you transition onto the study contract. It builds up rapport. The reason why I put this in as a point, and another thing to get down, is because the actual costs associated by putting a student through all of their studying, because it can rack up into the thousands of pounds, especially if you're going to face-to-face tuition, and also the number of exams that you've got to do. So for an employer, it's a big financial commitment, but that's why they have that payback period of the 12 months. So you do your 3 years and then work another 12 months afterwards. But with this, you could start working. If you want to transition, you can transition, and then it's just a bit more flexibility to help you out to say, not quite feeling working at this company, something's not quite right here, maybe you have to relocate. But again, it just gives you that flexibility and you're not tied down. So if I was you, there would be my sort of 4 methods. That would be how I'd be looking to actually start and to actually apply for a accounting study contract. There will be setbacks. It's a really competitive market out there. There are always ups and downs. There are rejections and everything. And it's a real tough battle of the early starts, the late finishes, not hearing from people. Trust me, I've been there. So the best thing I can say is just keep at it, keep persevering, and just keep that resilience going, that opportunity will come out and leap out to you, and you're going to grab it with both hands. That is the main thing. I hope the tips and the insights that we've talked about today help your accounting journey, whichever sort of stage you're at. That is the main thing. This is all from my experience and from speaking with students and professionals around the world to help you out. So if you want access to all my upcoming free videos and to make sure you're notified of them, make sure you give it a massive like and subscribe below. I really, really appreciate it. And if you know anyone who is looking to actually gain a study contract or to start working in an accounting firm, make sure you share this video with them, because it is really, really going to help them. These are the sort of things that I'd love to have known when I was first starting out, because I didn't really have that sort of mentor around me, especially in the accounting field. So if you've got any other comments or sort of requests for videos, or you'd like any feedback or anything, well, let me know what you thought of the video. I really don't mind. Just leave me a comment below. I answer them all, and I'll do my best to give you as much help and information as I can. But I'd just like to say, obviously, of course, you know, it's about finding a role and finding a study contract and how to get on one. So I'd just like to wish you all the best with your accounting journey. That is the main thing of the video. I hope the new videos and my experience and my insights, going to keep doing more and more videos, help you out. I've got plenty more free accounting resources on the channel. So as a final treat to the video, what I've done for you is, as ever, I've left a couple of videos at the end here. Make sure you click one of them, because they're definitely going to help you actually pass your examination or get you on that next step in your financial accounting journey. Well, as ever, on that bombshell, I'll see you next time. Cheers!